Last Tuesday, I attended a little presentation by Gary O'Neill, one of our very favorite LinkedIn experts and recruiters in town. I think the presentation that I saw is one that some of you have seen already. He's very good at this. It's all about how recruiters actually find you on LinkedIn, and also how you can use LinkedIn in order to contact the hiring managers, bypass the system, get into a job. And it was very detailed. I'm hoping to get him to, I've been trying to get him to come back to speak to Launchpad for about 2 years, and he keeps popping up other places. I have his presentation. I'm not gonna give you the entire presentation because I want him to come and give it. But there is one piece of it, or maybe two pieces of it, that I want to show you, and then we're going to get you to break up into groups and kind of use this information. Since it's such a small group today, you actually get to talk to each other. Was there anybody else who was at that ATD presentation? There were quite a few Launchpad people who were there. Oh, rats. Okay.
I don't know. She said the same thing. He did his presentation.
Yeah, so all of you guys saw that piece. Well, I'm going to show, for the folks who weren't there, I always hate to have anybody come speak who's just spoken at one of the other three, because then you've heard of this already. But the two things that I want to show you, one is just how you should, what you should show as your current job on LinkedIn. One time, let me get on here. By the way, some of you know Tony Leal, and I got a thing that said he just started a new job. It looks as though he's in a wheelchair. So we have two of our members who are in wheelchairs, and sometimes you see him bopping around because for a long time he worked at Hoover's, and so you'd see him going up and down airport in his wheelchair. And it looks as though he just got a fabulous job as a compliance officer at the National Society of Hispanic MBAs, but maybe in Kansas City, so he might have had to move. But anyway, when you look up people, you know, they always say people who looked at this one also looked at all of these, and it tells you how they have defined themselves, what they do for a living. And one time, four people came up, and it said their name, and one said what was their current job: unemployed, 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 seriously unemployed. And I thought, you know, that's how you are being defined in LinkedIn. Who is ever going to put in a job posting, or who's going to do a search looking for someone whose job title is unemployed? That was before anybody really knew how you're supposed to define yourself. And so very often it'll say, what is your current job? So we'll look up Tony, I guess. So it'll say, what is your current job? His current job is that, why does that say that? Oh, because he's done this for a month. Well, anyway, so customer support specialist is his current job at Accent Marketing, I guess. So he's done that for a month, and then in addition, he's the compliance officer, so he's currently doing that as well. And so you want to always put as your current job title what your job title is. And I'll show you how when they do a search, when a recruiter goes in and is looking for people, they're going to put in the job title. So you always want to have that as current. And then Gary suggests that where it says, and where are you working? He says that's a great place to put currently exploring new opportunities. And so they will do the search under your name. So, and you can play around with this as well. And a recruiter who's doing a search is going to go into the advanced search capability. And let's say that that we're looking for somebody in marketing. And we want somebody who is currently in marketing, because you don't want somebody who did marketing 10 years ago and now they're doing something else. If a recruiter is looking for somebody for a marketing job, they want somebody who's current. So they're going to go in there, and it's going to look for that current title. So your current title needs to be what you want to be. And so those of you who are changing careers, you can still define yourself by your new, this is what I want to be job. And that's the cool thing about this. Even though you're not currently working in that job, you don't want to do what you used to do. Put down what you want to do now and define yourself in that way. And then, so a recruiter would then pull up folks. And you want to, obviously, you're not going to come up. You're not going to come up. Did I step on a plug?
Kathy, under the heading of shameless promotion, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, it will show you what he talked about, the way mine is set up.
Okay, and I know Frank Scamato's is as well. But I will do that. All right, I'll let my technician handle this. We'll get it back up. But but the point is, so you always want to define yourself by your job title, and then you won't come up in the search for a recruiter unless you're somewhere in that person's network. So you always want to, and we've been pushing this for years, you always want to be connected to as many recruiters as you possibly can. One of the things that we're going to do later on in this meeting is to help all of you, if you don't already, create a list of at least 10 companies where you would like to work. And then you need to do a search for the recruiters at those companies. You need to make sure that you are connected to the recruiters at those companies. Recruiters will almost always agree to connect with you. And especially if you explain, don't send that standard little, we've talked about this 1,000 times, don't send that little, I just want you to join my LinkedIn network. Always go into that recruiter's profile, click at the connect by their picture, and explain why you want to connect with them. If you're like Gary, he doesn't care. He's so busy, he's not going to look at your message anyway. But lots of people do, and I've sent messages to recruiters where I have lied and said, I've worked with you before, we've done business together, and then I'll explain, I'm affiliated with the Launchpad Job Club, the oldest and largest job networking group in Austin, and I would love to be connected to you for mutual benefit. So I have a group of talented people, and I'd like to be connected with you. And generally people will do that, but I've had some people say, thank you for your personal note. That makes a difference. Yes, sir.
I tried his he had a presentation on Tuesday, and I went home and I said, okay, I want to see what Visa's all about. And so I did that search, recruiter, current, Austin, within a certain miles. Got 7 recruiters. I sent them each a note saying, hey, I'd like to hook up, I'm trying to network, and blah, 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 blah. 5 replied and got connected with me. All right. And 1 actually replied and gave me her name and said, she's the manager of recruiting. This is the way you find a job. And I said, well, I've already applied for a job. And I sent her my resume. So it worked in one day. By Wednesday, I had 5 out of 7 connected.
By the way.
Yeah. And also, she said that they're going to have they'll be at South by Southwest, but also a certain room, a lounge or something, Visa lounge or something, to come visit. So I'm going to do that tomorrow. But it really does work. I was really surprised.
It does, and one of the people, we have a Launchpad person. Right now I was going to show you that we have a Launchpad person who is she's a new recruiter. She's a corporate recruiter at Visa. And she just got that hired. Just got that job. And you also have to be in the network. So the first, I've got 13,000 people. I should probably put a keyword in here to narrow that down a little bit. But if I were a recruiter and I was looking for somebody, this is the way that you'd start. But you'll notice that in general, the people who are my first degree connections are going to be the ones that show up first. And then a lot of that is going to change. The more times you have that word on your resume, the higher you'll get on a search as well, on your profile. And what Frank Scamato did, he changed his profile significantly, and immediately got called by a recruiter, and he's taken a job in Colorado. for a semiconductor company. So number one, he put all these titles up there. He has some personal stuff about how he does business, so it's a little bit different than the information you would put on a resume. He has a ton of keywords. As a systems engineer, these are the keywords that apply to me. As a circuit engineer, and some of them are very detailed technical stuff. And then what you also want to do, I think he did this, yes. So under every job that you list, you also want to put all of those different job titles. Not just the one job title as you would on a resume. A profile on LinkedIn is similar but different from a resume. And every single job that you have, you want to put all the different titles so that you get those titles over and over and over. So he's got almost his same 5 titles from the top. He's got them under AMD as well. And then he's got some more titles under the next job that he's got. So you want to repeat those titles. And then lots of people also will put a list of keywords under each job as well. So you want to just populate your LinkedIn profile over and over and over with those job titles. So that's a big deal. The more times you have those same job titles on your profile, the higher you'll get. So you always want to do that. And then connect with as many recruiters as you can so that when they do a search, you automatically will pop up. So that should be easy. And I wanted to, while I was looking for this, I came across, I don't want to flash it up on the screen because it's a really bad example and I don't want to, I don't know this person. But when it says people also viewed this name came up, and what she has as her headliner, which is where you put your job titles, she's got in transition from Freescale. So that's her headline. She has nothing under current. Now she's got some keywords in her summary where she has described what she did, but when they look for somebody whose current title is whatever, manager, change manager, engineer, nobody's going to put a title that is in transition. So that is how she has defined herself, and it's useless. So you always want to keep that in mind as you go through your LinkedIn stuff. Okay, that said, I would like for all of you to come up with this list and to help each other with this list and with contacts and connections at this list. And while I set you to doing that, I'm going to show you the resources that we have. I'd like you to form groups. I have some things that might help you. One of the places you can look, let's say that you want to work for, let's say, I don't know, build a sign. All right, so I'm doing a search up here under companies. So I had the little drop down. I'm doing a search for companies, and I'm doing Spiceworks. That's one of the companies that Sean Frederick said was hiring. They were at the High Tech Happy Hour. They are a software company. And so we're going to look up Spiceworks, and we're going to see what they do. It says here's the insane people that they always participate in the Gorilla Run. I've seen them there a bunch of times. And so it tells what their process is and everything. But then it says people also viewed, if you're trying to think, well, I don't know companies in Austin, put in the company where you used to work, or put in one company where you would like to work, and then say people also viewed. So here's some more good companies to work for in Austin: Sparefoot, Spiceworks, Spreadfest, Bazaar Voice. These are, and HomeAway, Retail Me Not, and SolarWinds. These are all, they have a software component, and they are all companies that have been listed in the top 10 companies to work for in Austin. And so if you're trying to think, who else can I put on my list? I don't know these companies. That little piece can give you some ideas of some places you can add. Some other places that you can look, one is the Book of Lists. This is the, I brought 3 of them. The Book of Lists is put out every year by the Austin Business Journal, and it lists lots of companies, the top 25 credit unions, the top 25 or the top 13 semiconductor companies, and so forth, with a lot of information about them. Also, the best places to work, the fastest growing companies, the fastest growing big companies, the fastest growing little companies, video companies, and that sort of stuff. Lots and lots and lots of lists with not just the name of the company, but a good deal of information about each one. How many employees do they have? What were their revenues? What's their website? Who's their local executive? Just things like that. So the Book of Lists can be a good resource when you're trying to just figure out where could I look. And I've brought the one for this year, the one for last year, and the one for the year before. Sometimes they have slightly different things. For example, some years they include biomed companies, and some years they do not. So there's that. And also just the business journal. Almost always when I read a business journal, there are not only companies profiled that are in hiring mode. The articles that are usually in the business journal are, this company is expanding, they're moving to larger quarters, or this company just got their 4th round of funding, or this company has just moved here from California, they plan to hire 80 people. So they give you those kinds of opportunities, and in every business journal there's a list of people on the move. So it's a big list of folks who have just gotten jobs. And what it always used to say was, this person has just gotten this job, and before they were in that job. And so all these job seekers immediately went to where they were working before to see if that job had been filled yet. And so they quit doing that for the most part. But it's nice to see what companies are hiring. And gee, if you find somebody who's just gotten a job that really you wanted, and you decide you want to see, oh, if only I knew where they used to work so I could apply at their former job. How can I find that out? Again, LinkedIn.